Jurassic Park is a 1993 American science fiction adventure film directed by Steven Spielberg, the first installment of the Jurassic Park franchise. It is based on the 1990 novel of the same name by Michael Crichton, with a screenplay written by Crichton and David Coep. The film is set on the fictional island Blah, an islet located off Central America's Pacific coast, near Costa Rica, where a billionaire philanthropist and a small team of genetic scientists have created a wildlife park of cloned dinosaurs. Before Crichton's novel was published, 4 studios put in bids for the film rights. With the backing of Universal Studios, Spielberg acquired the rights for $1.5 million before publication in 1990. Crichton was hired for an additional $500,000 to adapt the novel for the screen. David Coep wrote the final draft, which left out much of the novel's exposition and violence and made numerous changes to the characters. Filming took place in California and Hawaii between August and November 1992, and post-production rolled until May 1993. Supervised by Spielberg in Poland as he filmed Schindler's List, the dinosaurs were created with groundbreaking computer-generated imagery by Industrial Light and Magic and with life-sized animatronic dinosaurs built by Stan Winston's team, to showcase the film's sound design, which included a mixture of various animal noises for the dinosaur roars. Spielberg invested in the creation of DTS, a company specializing in digital surround sound formats. Following an extensive $65 million marketing campaign, which included licensing deals with 100 companies, Jurassic Park grossed over $900 million worldwide in its original theatrical run. It surpassed Spielberg's 1982 film E.T., the extraterrestrial, to become the highest-grossing film at the time, and was well received by critics, who praised its special effects, John Williams' musical score, and Spielberg's direction. Following a 3D re-release in 2013 to celebrate its 20th anniversary, Jurassic Park became the 17th film to surpass $1 billion in ticket sales, and the film still ranks among the 20 highest-grossing films ever. The film won more than 20 awards, mostly for its technical achievements. Jurassic Park is considered a landmark in the development of computer-generated imagery and animatronic visual effects. The film was followed by 3 commercially successful sequels: The Lost World, Jurassic Park the Third, and Jurassic World, with a 5th installment scheduled for a 2018 release. Plot: John Hammond, the founder and CEO of bioengineering company InGen, has created a theme park called Jurassic Park on Island Blah, a tropical island populated with cloned dinosaurs. After a park worker is killed by a velociraptor, the park's investors, represented by lawyer Donald Gennaro, demand that experts visit the park and certify it is safe. Gennaro invites the mathematician Ian Malcolm, while Hammond invites paleontologist Drive, Alan Grant, and paleobotanist Drive, Ellie Sattler. Upon arrival, the group is stunned to see 3 Brachiosaurus and a herd of Parasaurolophus in the distance. At the visitor center, the group learns during a laboratory tour that the cloning was accomplished by extracting the DNA of dinosaurs from mosquitoes that had been preserved in amber. The DNA strands were incomplete, so DNA from frogs was used to fill in the gaps. The dinosaurs were all cloned genetically as females in order to prevent breeding. The group is then joined by Hammond's grandchildren, Lex and Tim Murphy, for a tour of the park. While Hammond oversees the trip from the park's control room, the tour does not go as planned, with the dinosaurs failing to appear and a triceratops becoming ill. As a tropical storm approaches Island Blah, the tour is cut short. Most of the park employees depart on a boat for the mainland and the visitors return to the electric tour vehicles, except Ellie, who stays with the park's veterinarian to study the triceratops. During the storm, as night falls, Jurassic Park's computer programmer, Dennis Nedry, who has been bribed by a corporate rival, Louis Dodgson, to steal dinosaur embryos, deactivates the park's security system to allow him access to the embryo storage room. The power goes out, and the tour vehicles become stuck. Most of the park's electric fences are deactivated, allowing the Tyrannosaurus Rex to escape and attack the tour group. Grant, Lex, and Tim narrowly escape while the Tyrannosaurus devours Gennaro, injures Malcolm, and pushes one of the vehicles over an embankment. On his way to deliver the embryos to the island's docks, Nedry becomes lost in the dark, crashes his jeep, and is killed by a Dilophosaurus. Sattler assists the park's game warden, Robert Muldoon, in a search for survivors, but they only find Malcolm before the Tyrannosaurus Rex returns. They escape in one of the vehicles. Unable to decipher Nedry's code to reactivate the security system, Hammond and the park's chief engineer Ray Arnold opt to reboot the entire park system. When he fails to return, Sattler and Muldoon head to the shed as well. They discover the shutdown has deactivated the remaining fences and released the velociraptors. Muldoon distracts the raptors while Sattler turns the power back on. She discovers Arnold's severed arm and escapes. Soon after, the raptors ambush and kill Muldoon. Grant, Tim, and Lex discover the broken shells of dinosaur eggs. Grant concludes that the dinosaurs have been breeding, which occurred because they have the genetic coding of frog DNA. West African bullfrogs can change their sex in a single-sex environment, making the dinosaurs able to do so as well. On the way back to the visitor center, the trio encounter a herd of gallimimus, when suddenly the Tyrannosaurus emerges from seemingly nowhere and kills one. Grant, Tim and Lex reach the visitor center, and Grant leaves them there as he goes searching for the others. After finding the bunker, Grant and Sattler head back to the visitor center, where the children successfully evade two velociraptors. The four head to the control room, where Lex restores full power, allowing the group to call for help. While trying to leave, they are cornered by the raptors, but escape when the Tyrannosaurus suddenly appears and kills both raptors. Ignoring the humans, Hammond arrives in a jeep with Malcolm, and the entire group flees together. Before they board a helicopter to leave the island, Grant decides not to endorse the park, a choice with which Hammond concurs. Cast: Sam Neill as Dr. Alan Grant, a leading paleontologist; Laura Dern as Dr. Ellie Sattler, a paleobotanist; Jeff Goldblum as Dr. Ian Malcolm, a mathematician and chaos theorist; Richard Attenborough as John Hammond, InGen's billionaire CEO and the park's creator; Ariana Richards as Alexis, Lex Murphy, Tim's older sister and Dr. Hammond's granddaughter; Joseph Mazzello as Timothy, Tim Murphy, Lex's younger brother and Dr. Hammond's grandson; Martin Ferrero as Donald Gennaro, a lawyer who represents Hammond's concerned investors; Bob Peck as Robert Muldoon, the park's game warden; Wayne Knight as Dennis Nedry, the disgruntled and corrupt programmer of the park's computer systems; Samuel L. Jackson as Ray Arnold, the park's chain-smoking chief engineer; Cameron Thor as Dr. Louis Dodgson, a man involved with a corporate rival of InGen; Miguel Sandoval as Juanito Rostagno, the Mano de Dios Amber Mines proprietor; Jerry Molan as Dr. Harding, the park's veterinarian; B.D. Wong as Dr. Henry Wu, the park's chief geneticist; Richard Kiley as himself, providing audio narration for the park's main tour; Greg Burson as the voice of Mr. DNA, the animated DNA strand that explains the miracle of cloning dinosaurs on screen despite the title of the film referencing the Jurassic period. Brachiosaurus and Dilophosaurus are the only dinosaurs featured that actually lived during that time. The other species featured did not exist until the Cretaceous period. This is acknowledged in the film during a scene where Grant describes the ferocity of the velociraptor to a young boy, saying, "Try to imagine yourself in the Cretaceous period." Tyrannosaurus was acknowledged by Spielberg as the star of the movie, even leading him to rewrite the ending to feature the T-Rex for fear of disappointing the audience. Winston's animatronic T-Rex stood 20 feet, weighed 17,500 pounds, and was 40 feet long. Jack Horner called it the closest I've ever been to a live dinosaur. While the consulting paleontologists did not have a consensus on the dinosaur's movement, particularly regarding its running capabilities, animator Steve Williams decided to throw physics out the window and create a T-Rex that moved at 60 miles per hour, even though its hollow bones would have busted if it ran that fast. The major reason was the T-Rex chasing a Jeep, a scene that took 2 months to finish. The dinosaur is depicted with a vision system based on movement, though later studies indicated the T-Rex had binocular vision comparable to a bird of prey. Its roar is a baby elephant mixed with a tiger and an alligator, and its breath is a whale's blow. A dog attacking a rope toy was used for the sounds of the T-Rex tearing a gallimimus apart, while cut sequoias crashing to the ground became the sound of the dinosaur's footsteps. Velociraptor plays a major role in the film. The creature's depiction is not based on the actual dinosaur genus in question, which itself was significantly smaller. Shortly before Jurassic Park's theater release, the similar Utah raptor was discovered, though was proven bigger in appearance than the film's raptors. This prompted Stan Winston to joke, "We made it. Then they discovered it." For the attack on character Robert Muldoon and some parts of the kitchen scene, the raptors were played by men in suits. Dolphin screams, walruses bellowing, geese hissing, an African crane's mating call, tortoises mating, and human rasps were mixed to formulate various raptor sounds. Following discoveries are made after the film's release. Most paleontologists theorize that dromaeosaurs like Velociraptor and Deinonychus were fully covered with feathers like modern birds. This feature is only included in Jurassic Park the third for the male raptors, who are shown with a row of small quills on their heads. Dilophosaurus was also very different from its real-life counterpart, made significantly smaller to make sure audiences did not confuse it with the raptors. Its neck frill and its ability to spit venom are fictitious. Its vocal sounds were made by combining a swan, a hawk, a howler monkey, and a rattlesnake. The animatronic model, nicknamed Spitter by Stan Winston's team, was animated by the puppeteers sitting on a trench in the set floor, and used a paintball mechanism to spit the mixture of methicillin and KY jelly that served as venom. Brachiosaurus is the first dinosaur seen by the park's visitors. It is inaccurately depicted as chewing its food, and standing up on its hind legs to browse among the high tree branches. According to artist Andy Schoenberg, the chewing was done to make the animal seem docile. In a way it resembled a cow chewing its cud. The dinosaur's head and upper neck was the largest puppet without hydraulics built for the film, despite scientific evidence of their having limited vocal capabilities. Sound designer Gary Rydstrom decided to represent him with whale songs and donkey calls to give them a melodic sense of wonder. Penguins were also recorded to be used in the noises of the dinosaurs. Triceratops has an extended cameo, being sick with an unidentified disease. Its appearance was a particular logistical nightmare for Stan Winston when Spielberg asked to shoot the animatronic of the sick creature earlier than expected. The model, operated by 8 puppeteers in the Cowery set, wound up being the first dinosaur film during production. Winston also created a baby Triceratops for Ariana Richards to ride on, a scene cut from the film for pacing reasons. Gary Rydstrom combined the sound of himself breathing into a cardboard tube with the cows near his workplace at Skywalker Ranch to create the Triceratops vocals. Gallimimus are featured in a stampede scene where one of them is devoured by the Tyrannosaurus. The Gallimimus was the first dinosaur to receive a digital version, being featured in 2 ILM tests, first as a herd of skeletons and then fully skinned while pursued by the T-Rex. Its design was based on ostriches, and to emphasize the bird-like qualities, the animation focused mostly on the herd rather than individual animals. As reference for the dinosaurs run, the animators were filmed running at the ILM parking lot, with plastic pipes standing in as the tree that the Gallimimus jump over. The footage even inspired to incorporate an animal falling in its leap as one of the artists crashed, making the jump. Horse squeals became the Gallimimus sounds. Parasaurolophus appear in the background during the first encounter with the Brachiosaurus. Alamosaurus appears as a skeleton in the Jurassic Park Visitor Center.